Ya estamos.
Lucy, no te escuchamos.
Feminism. Okay. Feminism, women's movement and diversity towards the construction of other possible world. We have now a group of important women that represents a lot of struggles, feminist struggles. We are share their views about our what we need now to take to make the world more feminist and more good for us to live in. I maybe we could add in this sequence.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. Then I'd like to call Ada Dono from Italy to start the discussion.
Ok. Espera, vamos a... Sí, ya está en línea.
Gracias, ¿me
Sí.
escuchan?
Sí, permíteme tantito. One moment. One moment, please. Ok. Sí, permíteme tantito. Lo voy a poner en
Hola.
inglés para... Sí, sí.
Hola, ¿me escuchan?
Yes.
¿Voy a comenzar?
Yes.
Gracias.
We are listening to you. You can start.
Ok. Ok, thank you. Gracias. Gracias. Hola, mujeres del mundo. Gracias al Foro Social Mundial por organizar este panel. Y gracias a Rosy por la invitación. Gracias por el gran trabajo de coordinación. Voy a presentarme. Soy Ada Dono de la Asociación de Mujeres de la Región Mediterránea, una organización feminista y pacifista italiana fundada hace unos 30 años, que se ocupa en primer lugar de construir relaciones de solidaridad con las mujeres de la región mediterránea. y estamos afiliadas también a la Federación Democrática Internacional de Mujeres. Somos también parte de una red nacional de mujeres más amplia y también hace unos años de la red internacional Mujeres por la Paz Unidas contra la OTAN, en la que también está Ann Wright, de Estados Unidos, que saludo cordialmente a Ann. Empezaré diciendo que juntas con la Asamblea Feminista Europea de las Fuerzas de Izquierda, ecologistas y progresistas, estamos preparando una acción europea para el próximo 8 de marzo, marcada por el lema contra su economía de guerra, nuestra economía de cuidados. Y me gustaría explicar brevemente las razones de nuestra acción. Nuestra intención es centrarnos en el tema de la defensa de la economía de cuidado, que pone en primer plano la vida de las personas, la naturaleza y la paz. El mundo está precipitando hacia la guerra, lo vemos cada día. Pero como las feministas venimos diciendo desde hace muchos años, las guerras no estallan de repente. Las guerras están preparadas desde hace mucho tiempo y una de las primeras señales preocupantes es la conversión gradual y rápida de las economías hacia una economía de guerra. Para apoyar el rearme, cada vez se empieza por desviar recursos estatales de gastos sociales, de salud y de educación hacia gastos militares y se avanza hacia el gasto en armamentos. Este proceso ha comenzado en Europa y en los países pertenecientes a la OTAN hace más de 10 años, más de 10 años. Lo hemos denunciado fuertemente en nuestras asambleas feministas europeas. Al mismo tiempo han comenzado procesos de militarización gradual de las sociedades, restricciones a los derechos civiles y sociales. El militarismo va impregnando todos los aspectos, incluida la educación pública y la información, y los grandes medios de comunicación están impregnados de discursos que tienden a hacernos aceptar la guerra como algo posible, algo normal. Son procesos que se están produciendo ante nuestros ojos en Europa. Cuando la palabra pasa a las armas, la voz de las mujeres que apunta a cuidar el mundo ya no se escucha, suena desafinada. Todos los discursos de distensión y pacificación internacional que hemos pronunciado en el pasado parecen más lejanos, más irreales. La normalidad vuelve a ser guerra y nuestros derechos se vuelven visibles. En muchos países las fuerzas de derecha están ganando, los partidos neofascistas y neonazis están recuperando el aliento. Parece que en todas partes la gente no comprende el precipicio hacia el que nos dirigimos y escucha a quienes utilizan un lenguaje violento y promete récords, supremacía, victorias contra enemigos reales o imaginarios. Las fuerzas neofascistas aliadas con las fuerzas patriarcales neoliberales en Europa, como en otras partes del mundo, promueven la guerra. Y la economía de guerra que se crea, explota y mata. Quiero recordarles que la pandemia de COVID en los últimos años nos había traído una gran ilusión. El mundo de los hombres finalmente parecía haber comprendido la importancia de poner los cuidados en el centro. Por el contrario, la gestión patriarcal y neoliberal de la pandemia se tradujo en una frenética búsqueda de ganancias para las grandes corporaciones farmacéuticas que producen vacunas. Bien, ¿qué hacer? Como decimos nosotras, tenemos que hacer del cuidado un paradigma político. Tenemos que defender una Europa feminista que defienda la paz en contra de las guerras, que ponga en valor la vida, financiando los cuidados, y tenemos que decir no al armamentismo y al militarismo. No se puede hablar de avances para las mujeres si no hay paz. Urge frenar el avance de los gobiernos fascistas en Europa e impedir el avance de la extrema derecha en el Parlamento Europeo. La feminización de la pobreza se acentúa por las guerras. Las mujeres están más desprotegidas de todas las violencias machistas, desde la doméstica, las sexuales y el feminicidio, etc. La paz es necesaria porque en la guerra, tanto la guerra económica como la guerra bélica, los derechos de las mujeres son invisibilizados. Perdemos derechos fundamentales como el derecho a decidir sobre nuestro cuerpo, nuestra maternidad, nuestra sexualidad. En fin, por todo eso, este 8 de marzo nos declararemos en huelga feminista por nuestros derechos, y las feministas exigimos que los gobiernos devuelvan un nuevo impulso a los sistemas de salud pública y educación, y nuestra huelga, por supuesto, es en solidaridad con las mujeres del mundo, a empezar de las mujeres que sufren las guerras, las mujeres palestinas y los niños palestinos que las están matando cada día, como vemos. Gracias.
Well, thank you, dear. We are in this table physically, presentially. I'd like to present you Rosie, to thank you, Renu, to be here, Amanda, and Wafa. And together we will start to dialogue with our colleagues that those are in the internet. Then I'd like to, sorry. Let's see the sequence. And right, the United States, our friend from United States to for the online course.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you all the way from Hawaii to Kathmandu, Nepal. It's a pleasure to be with the panel, Feminism, Women's Movements and Diversity. I am representing thousands of women who have signed the Global Women for Peace United Against NATO's Declaration for Peace. I'll put this in the chat, so if you haven't signed, we would love to have you sign it. The aspiration of, I think, all women, as Anna just mentioned, is for peace today, but it's threatened by the escalating arms race and the risk of nuclear war, and the strengthening of military alliances and the militarization of international relations. All this risks leading humanity to catastrophe. NATO's decisions since 1991 have in large part been responsible for this developing global confrontation. This latest stage in the policy process is the so-called New Strategic Concept, agreed at the NATO Heads of State Summit in Madrid in 2022. As women of peace, we reject NATO and its worldview. It foments instability and exacerbates international conflict. It is irreconcilable with our principle of taking care of the world, a principle that we strive to affirm globally. The time of colonialism and imperialism has passed. The time of the West's claim to unipolar domination and moral supremacy is over. Today, we welcome a new multipolar world order based on shared decisions on social and environmental justice, on the sharing of resources and technologies, on the transition to zero military arsenals. This is what we women said at the Madrid Peace Summit last year. We affirmed this on the occasion of the NATO summit in Vilnius in 2023. What do we want? Our message when we met in Brussels, home of the NATO headquarters, was no to global war, no to global NATO, no to increased militarist blocs, no to war as a way of settling international disputes, no to the militarization of scientific research. Our younger generation has the right to a secular and democratic education inspired by the values of peace, coexistence between peoples and states. No to the involvement of women in patriarchy's war plans. No to any gender approach in NATO. Putting women in top roles in a warmongering military organization will do nothing to promote the principles of equality, justice, and peace that underlie women's struggles for freedom. Instead, we say yes to respecting the authentic intentions of UN Resolution 1325 on the participation of women in peace negotiations and processes. We invite the women of the world to join us in Washington, D.C., July 5th and 7th, 2024, as we challenge NATO's goals during its 75th anniversary, held in Washington, D.C. And speaking of Washington, D.C., I have been in Washington for the past 5 weeks, joining women and men challenging U.S. complicity in the Israeli genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. Women of conscience have rallied, marched at the White House, State Department, and Congress. We have camped out at Secretary of State Tony Blinken's house, and we have been arrested for disrupting congressional hearings in their attempts to stop the Israeli genocide of Gaza and the Israeli violence in the West Bank. Another women's group, Code Pink Women for Peace, has for the past 3 months led daily efforts in the U.S. Congress as we confront heartless and cruel U.S. congressmen and women as they refuse to call for a ceasefire in Gaza and continue to vote for billions of dollars for weapons to Israel to kill Palestinians in the genocide of Gaza. I will include links to our Global Women for Peace United Against NATO and our call to action for No to NATO, Yes to Peace in Washington, D.C. in July of this year, and also a link to the photos that have been taken by people in the United States, that are trying to get the U.S. to stop to be complicit in the genocide of Gaza. I end with Save Gaza and Free Palestine from Israeli genocide. Thank you.
Well, free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. As you see, our colleagues from Italy, from United States, they say the urgency of the war is the priority for the feminist movement. The women who want to be together to stop the genocide in Gaza. And we do together. I'd like to ask to our colleague from Brazil, Amanda Anderson.
Good evening, everyone. No. I think no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, translate.
Yo voy a hablar español ahora.
¿Ah?
Yo voy a hablar en español porque es mejor para mí. Okay. It's a joke. Let's see. Well, oh, when can we start? All women in the world say it's free Palestine, but we have to remember we are not free until bride burning act. We all women are not free, and we have to change this in the world. Uh, I'm the only trans woman here in this table. This shows how much we have to talk about freedom of our bodies, not just of our bodies, but our our compliances, our neededness, because we have a lot of machines inside the feminism to, and we have to change this. How we gonna change this? How we gonna start to change this? In Brazil, we are making. I'm a Brazilian. I don't say that. Sorry, I'm Brazilian, and in Brazil, we change with a little justice, a little lies, a little employments, and a little acts with the politics, acts. We have the women ministry in Brazil, and we started to move all the congressmen, because in Brazil we have only 37%, 27% of women in the Congress. But in Brazil, we have 56% of women persons on the population. And how are we going to change this? This numerical number, it's not, it's the man it's occupying, and the man is talking about our uh, our bodies. So we have to start to change this behind the politic. And we know this is necessary. We know that it's necessary to talk about feminism, about politics, about lies. Because we don't change our perspective. We don't change our numerical como yo puedo decir numérica. It's hard. It's hard. I'm speaking English, Spanish, French these 3 days, and today I'm heard Italian, and my mind it's so confused. But we're gonna finish it. Uh, uh, this perspective, we just gonna change our world when we occupy these places to talk about our bodies, not to permit more men talking about us, but we have to talk about us inside of it, not outside, waiting. He don't gonna change this reality. This reality is good for for them. Thank you. But isn't good for us. Along of centuries, we're gonna sing this. This never gonna be good for us. I I always say, let the witches free, because that witches on the path is us, feminists of today, and we have to be freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Amanda is part of an important movement in Brazil. The network named Trans Brazil is is one part of our feminist and gender movement, because we have also the Black movement, the indigenous women movements. They have a lot of different agenda, and is not easy to put this together. Thank you, Amanda. I'd like to know, where is Shema? Shema is the next one? Oh, no, Shema, Wafa. Wafa, Shema. Not because Shema is from Tunis, but now Wafa from Tunis is take the floor. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting Shaima. And I'll try to be as honest as her, as much as Shaima would have been speaking here. So I'm from Tunisia, and as I think many of the Arab world probably present us as the most emancipated woman in the Arab world, and it started with the first freedom we had from the colonizer in 56. And it's true that we started to democratize education. And the statistics a few years later shows that 100% of children went to school and were educated in public schools. And that helped a lot to create a very strong ground for emancipation and very harsh and strong women movements in general in Tunisia. This is very true, but it's false also. So I'll try to explain why it's true and why it's false also. So it's true because these women movements, these feminist movements, were very, very, let's say, they stand up in front of any kind of manifestation of step back from the rights that we have gained, starting from 56. So with any kind of political change, we didn't have that much, but when we have this political change, we have this kind of, as any country, kind of step back, for the rights of women and taking care of our bodies, but in Tunisia, this social movement, the women movement, was very strong, and with the revolution, we had the same struggle, and we gained a lot in, for example, in parity in political parties, in parity in the parliament, etc., etc. So it was quite interesting. So that's why I think that it's very true that Tunisia has a strong feminist, let's say, movement. But it's very false also, because we only probably put the stress on the urban feminist movement. So we don't see the struggle that the rural women are taking. They are totally marginalized because their struggle is different from the other movement, let's say. They have to take all the, let's say, the hard work in the agricultural needs, etc. We have a kind of dramatic boredom in the local expression of marginality and exclusion. I mean, men are sitting in the cafes the whole day long, and women are working inside, outside, everywhere, taking care of everything. So they have kind of started a lot of movements, again, also with some migrant women, but still their struggle is very much marginalized, and we need to hear them. So that's Tunisia.
The next one.
I'd like to share this table with Rosie from now, and to say you have a good look about Tunis in the policies, and policies may be the moment we followed in 2011, maybe we feel a hope of another world. Hope you rescue this dream again. Please share with us. Another tune is possible. Rosie, table is here.
Okay, in this moment I continue with a woman from Brazil. Your name is, oh, sorry, moment multitasking. Your name is Dalila Calisto. Please, Dalila, come back. You are muted, I think. No. Oh. Dalila?
Bom dia. Bom dia a todas as companheiras. Eu não estou conseguindo abrir a minha câmera. Não sei.
Dalila,
por quê.
please open your camera. Abre tu câmera, por favor.
Eu estou apertando, mas não está sendo permitida. Aparece uma mensagem em inglês que não está permitindo abrir. Deixa eu ver se agora vai. Peraí. Agora sim. Sim, desculpem. Primeiro, como a Rose já falou, eu me chamo Dalila, sou militante do Movimento dos Atingidos por Barragens. É um prazer para nós do MAB estarmos aqui juntas, com tantas mulheres lutadoras, né, de várias partes do mundo, que constroem suas organizações em seus países, as lutas. Peço desculpa porque vou falar em português, mas temos tradução, né? Então, de forma rápida, né, colocar que o MAB, o Movimento dos Atingidos por Barragens, é um movimento que organiza as populações atingidas por diversos tipos de barragens no Brasil. O Brasil, que é um país que tem como principal matriz energética a matriz hidrelétrica, então é um país que tem inúmeras barragens, né, de diversos tipos, são mais de 24 mil barragens que estão instaladas no Brasil já há várias décadas, né, pelo fato de termos em nosso país uma base natural muito vantajosa, que toda a disponibilidade de água potável que nós temos no nosso país, se a gente comparar com as reservas de água que existem em outros países, né? Então, isso faz com que a gente tenha no Brasil toda essa abundância em água que nós possuímos, faz com que a gente tenha muitas barragens. E é, essas barragens causam diversos impactos, né, na vida das comunidades ribeirinhas, comunidades, os povos tradicionais, comunidades indígenas e também das populações urbanas do nosso país. E essas barragens, né, elas impactam principalmente a vida das mulheres. As mulheres são as principais vítimas da construção de barragens, da operação de barragens e também do rompimento de barragens, seja barragem para acumulação de água, seja barragem para geração de energia elétrica, seja barragem de mineração, qualquer tipo de barragem, por maior ou menor que seja essa estrutura de barragem, no Brasil, as experiências que a gente tem é que a vida das pessoas que são afetadas piora, fica muito, muito mais difícil, muito pior quando elas passam a viver próximas quando uma barragem chega naquele território, né? E a vida das mulheres fica muito mais pior do que comparada à vida dos homens, né? Por todos esses motivos que vocês mesmas já trouxeram aqui, né? De todo o processo de sugestão desse sistema patriarcal que nós temos ainda, que ainda persiste no mundo, né? Então faz com que os nossos direitos sejam sempre questionados, muitas vezes negados, invisibilizados. Então, num processo de construção de barragens, também isso se reproduz, essa mesma lógica. E se a gente observar, por exemplo, né, a relação que os donos das empresas, ou o que o próprio Estado estabelece quando chega nas comunidades, né, uma visão patrimonialista sobre quem é atingido, né? Aquela postura que as empresas, principalmente as empresas que hoje em dia são as empresas, em sua maioria, as empresas privadas, que constroem as barragens no Brasil, né? Não é mais o Estado brasileiro em grande medida. Então, as empresas, quando chegam na comunidade, elas enxergam o homem como ainda aquela visão antiga, né, atrasada, de que o chefe da família é o homem, né, que o homem é quem é chamado para as reuniões, a mulher muitas vezes vai para substituir o homem, na visão patrimonialista das empresas ou do próprio governo, né? Então, vários direitos das mulheres são violados. A questão dos laços familiares, os laços comunitários, né? Que são desmantelados quando as famílias são obrigadas a se deslocarem da sua comunidade para dar lugar à barragem. Então, todo aquele laço comunitário, aquelas relações muitas vezes de rede de apoio que as mulheres têm umas com as outras, na vizinhança, com os familiares, tudo isso são rompidas, essas relações, porque quando vai ter as famílias são realocadas, reassentadas, nem sempre elas permanecem tendo os mesmos vizinhos, morando perto das mesmas pessoas que elas moravam há 50, 30, há 20 anos, né? Então, essas relações sociais são desmanteladas. Então, são muitas violações que as mulheres sofrem, né? As mulheres atingidas por barragem, que no Brasil é uma população que cresce a cada dia, e aí isso tem a ver com várias questões, né? Tem a ver também, principalmente agora com toda essa marcha climática, essa crise climática que nós estamos vivendo no mundo e que o Brasil também vive, né? Esse cenário, para a gente ter uma ideia, só no Brasil, nos próximos anos, são Então, está previsto que mais de 10 milhões de pessoas vão ser obrigadas a sair das suas casas por estarem, principalmente na área urbana, né? Em áreas urbanas que são áreas hoje de risco, que vão ser fortemente atingidas pelas mudanças climáticas que estão já acontecendo no mundo, né? E no Brasil também, nos últimos anos, a gente vê cada vez mais rompimentos de barragem, enchentes, né, tragédias, que na verdade são crimes ambientais que têm afetado muitas famílias, muitas comunidades, em várias cidades, né? Em São Paulo, no Rio de Janeiro, no Rio Grande do Sul, vários estados, na Bahia, de norte, no norte, no nordeste, no sul, no sudeste do Brasil. Então, quando a gente pensa esse número de 10 milhões de pessoas, né, grande parte desse número, quem desse contingente, né, será mais afetado? Com certeza serão as mulheres, né, mais uma vez, então, que vão lidar com uma série de violações, de dificuldades, né, na vida, quando pensa na questão econômica, na questão das relações sociais, na própria questão do meio ambiente, né? Tudo isso está sendo colocado, né? E que é preciso ter esse olhar, né? Tanto o olhar da questão de gênero, quando a gente fala da crise climática, como o olhar da questão de raça também, né? Porque as mulheres também nem sempre são as mulheres, principalmente negras, né? As mulheres pobres, trabalhadoras, que vão ser mais afetadas com essas mudanças que a gente está vendo acontecer no mundo, né? Então, o MAB é um desses movimentos que vem construindo essa luta, buscando organizar essas populações, né, atingidas pelas barragens, mas não só pelas barragens, né, pelas mudanças climáticas, é, as mulheres da classe trabalhadora. E nós também, além de sermos um movimento nacional que está organizado no Brasil já há 32 anos, em 20 estados do Brasil, nós também construímos o MAR, que é o Movimento dos Afetados por Represas, que é um movimento que está se organizando em 20 países, né? Muitas daqui eu acredito que já conhecem um pouco, já ouviram falar, que busca também fazer essa articulação internacional, pensando em várias regiões, né? Em vários países, na América Latina, na África, na Europa, como é que a gente pode articular, identificar esses sujeitos, homens e mulheres, atingidos por barragens, que existem no mundo também, vários, né? Não só no Brasil, né? Obviamente. E como a gente pode se articular, ouvir, conhecer a experiência que o Brasil tem, que é uma experiência dramática, né? Muito violenta, quando a gente fala da forma como o Estado brasileiro ou mesmo as empresas, eles tratam as populações atingidas por barragem, né? Quando a gente lembra os crimes, os rompimentos, né, que aconteceram, de Mariana, Brumadinho, a quantidade de trabalhadores que morreram, né? E até hoje as empresas, os donos seguem impunes. Até hoje as famílias, um laço de destruição ambiental, e social enorme, que teve proporções,
Please,
assim,
close,
muito
please
grandes,
close your
mas
1 minute,
que,
30 seconds.
sim, estou encerrando, mas que, assim, um crime, de proporções enormes, mas que ainda assim segue sem impunidade, sem nenhuma resolução para as famílias que foram atingidas, para a gente ver o poder que existe sobre essas empresas privadas, né? E o quanto que o Estado brasileiro, os governos, muitas vezes são subservientes a essa estrutura. Então, são muitos desafios. Acho que de forma breve é isso que a gente tem colocado, dizer que a luta continua a luta por repactuação em Mariana, por direitos, né, reparação em Brumadinho, e também pensando essa questão mais ampla ainda, né, que também nos une aqui sobre a questão da marcha climática, que é também um grande desafio para as lutas que virão. Obrigada, um abraço.
Thank you so much, Dalila. Thank you so much. In this moment, I continue with the Palestine. The woman is Lena Meari. Please, Lena.
Thank you. I can't open my camera. The host needs to open it. Thank you. My name is Lina Meari. I am an anthropologist teaching the social science department and the Institute of Women's Studies at Birzeit University. And I'm also serving as the head of its union of professors and employees. As a Palestinian, I have had lived my entire life under Israeli settler colonization. My family originated from the Palestinian village Al-Birwi, which was destroyed by the Zionist forces. Its indigenous inhabitants, including my family, were expelled, becoming refugees, but still struggling for the right to return. My village is one of 530 villages and cities destroyed by the Zionist forces in 1948. Approximately 13,000 Palestinians were killed and more than 800,000 were expelled from their homes in a Zionist aggressive ethnic cleansing operation executed against the indigenous people of Palestine and backed by Euro-American capitalist imperial powers in order to instate Israel as a colonial base in the midst of the Arab region, hindering the interests and inspiration of its masses. This ethnic cleansing is referred to by Palestinians as the Nakba, catastrophe. The Nakba, that its hardships and agonies, my generation embodied through the stories of our grandmothers, stories full of pain and hope. The Nakba is not a historical event, but a continuing structure. Settler colonialism is a violent machine, a continuing and expanding eliminatory project. It aims to eradicate the indigenous people and dispossess their lands to replace them with settlers. The current genocidal war against my people across historical Palestine, and specifically in Gaza, is the continuation of the settler colonial logic, a colonial racist logic which considers indigenous people as subhumans. During the current war, Israel has cut off all food, water, and electricity to Gaza and has engaged in vicious bombing of homes, markets, schools, universities, health facilities, bakeries, mosques, and churches, the infrastructure that sustains the everyday lives and livelihoods. Throughout more than 4 months, Israel killed about 30,000 Palestinian women, men, and children, injured 73,000, detained and tortured 11,000, and damaged 355,000 housing units, displacing 2 million Palestinians in Gaza. Among the displaced, there are 50,000 pregnant women. In fact, more than 160 women are expected to give birth every day in Gaza, with no access to hospitals, healthcare services, clean water, medicine, painkillers, and other supplies. Palestinian mothers are obliged to give their babies formula using contaminated water. They go hungry to feed their children as a result of the starvation policy employed by Israel to break the spirit of the people and its resistance. This genocidal war has gender dimensions. The Israeli colonizer aims to gain control over women's wombs, aiming to destroy the ability of Palestinians to reproduce future generations. Israel has bombed all universities and colleges in Gaza. It also bombed schools, which consists mostly of female labor force. Israel killed 4,300 students and 230 educators. It injured about 7,800 students and 700 educators. Israel is not only destroying all aspects of the present life of Palestinians, it aims to destroy their future. Amidst the continuous Israeli eliminatory project, Palestinians had resisted and continue to resist in all forms, opening possibilities for emancipatory future. Palestinian women are playing a fundamental role in the resistance and persistence of the Palestinian people. They sustain their families and communities, bear the burden when their sons and husbands are murdered or imprisoned. They practice sumud, steadfastness, while themselves arrested, tortured, and imprisoned. Palestinian women, as their whole people, are the victims of the harsh, aggressive Israeli settler colonial project. Yet, they are not passive victims that need saving as imagined by white supremacist colonial feminism. They are not humanitarian cases as portrayed by aid organizations. Palestinian women are political actors that struggle to decolonize their lives and communities and build a free and just future. Palestinian women need political radical solidarity from revolutionary feminists who believe in dismantling all forms of oppression everywhere. Feminists who struggle with us to liberate Palestine and engage with the global movement for the boycott, divestment, and sanctions against Israel as one manifestation of resistance to colonialism and imperialism and envisioning an alternative future. Feminists who build a joint cross-movement engagement and transnational feminist revolutionary solidarity with Palestinian feminists, and who strategize with an anti-colonial lens around local and international BDS activism in feminist movements. Palestine is a feminist cause, a cause about liberation and justice. The struggle for decolonizing Palestine is interconnected to the struggles of all oppressed peoples who endured and continue to endure colonization, imperialism, exploitation, and dehumanization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Palestine. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Thank you so much, Lena, for your speech in this moment of solidarity with you and the people Palestine. In this moment, I go to travel the continent. In this moment, have to Guatemala. One woman, indigenous, she is Lolita Chavez. She speak in Spanish. In this space, I have traduction. Interpretation, sorry. Come on, Lolita. Open your microphone, please.
¿Me escucha?
Yes.
Bueno, muy buena tarde, buenos días, buenas noches. Shokakap, Sokarik, Nimklaj Konogel, a todas las expresiones de los movimientos feministas. En principio quiero encender nuestra luz feminista, nuestra luz combativa y revolucionaria de diferentes territorios. Encendemos nuestra luz, generamos nuestra energía de poder popular feminista y nos vinculamos a esa expresión de sabiduría que tenemos en los territorios. Bueno, yo contarles que pues la situación en nuestros territorios sigue siendo difícil, la problemática sigue siendo latente y dentro de este planteamiento que tenemos como feministas comunitarias, yo soy parte del feminismo comunitario, del movimiento de feministas comunitarias y soy parte del Consejo de Pueblos Quichés y también de feministas de la Via Yala. Y hemos hecho todo nuestro planteamiento para que nuestras vidas cambien en relación a justicia, dignidad y libertad. Lamentablemente, en estas situaciones cada vez más complejas a nivel mundial, también se nos complejiza toda vez que venimos dentro de un planteamiento de liberación feminista. Dentro de la problemática que vivimos en nuestros territorios, siguen habiendo situaciones de múltiples opresiones. Si voy muy rápido me dicen. Y estas múltiples opresiones han generado muchas huellas que han violentado contra nuestras vidas. Dentro de estas huellas es importante mencionar la problemática más territorial y en eso me voy a referir. En principio, decirles que Ishimuleu, mal llamado Guatemala, como en varios territorios de Abya Yala también, hemos sufrido genocidio. Estos genocidios han quedado, varios de estas expresiones de lesa humanidad han quedado o en el olvido o en el silencio o en situación de ataque constante, de guerra constante contra las comunidades y contra nuestras vidas. Quienes más estamos sufriendo esas expresiones de ataque en la actualidad somos las expresiones de mujeres, las comunidades del LGTBIQ, la juventud, las mujeres también jóvenes, las niñas, y esto hace que estas violencias que sufrimos estén latentes. Una de ellas que hemos estado denunciando es la tortura permanente que ahora se vive en las casas, en las camas, que vivimos con incluso nuestra pareja, con expresiones de los matrimonios, o nuestros familiares que también estuvieron como quizá viviendo toda esa cultura de imposición de las prácticas y de los protocolos de tortura con el ejército, y esto se implementó ahora sobre nuestros territorios cuerpos, sobre los territorios en la tierra también. Eso es lamentable porque no solo está silenciado por la impunidad, se generó toda una cultura de machismo y un machismo muy, muy violento, muy de terror que vivimos. Pero también hay expresiones que están de estas violencias en los movimientos sociales, en las organizaciones, en las comunidades. Entonces, el planteamiento de la tortura a raíz de la guerra es necesario plantearlo. Y es necesario plantearlo también como una expresión de acción global para que no nos sintamos solas en las expresiones de las denuncias, como lo que pasó el 8 de marzo del 2017 contra las niñas que quemaron en Ishimuleu, también en la Casa Virgen de la Asunción, que está en la impunidad. Lo otro es esa expresión de ataque contra nosotras, a las que nos llaman brujas, que nosotras somos guías, somos sanadoras, planteamos también un modelo de vida diferente vinculado al Uchilas Caslemal, y como feministas tenemos un ataque muy, muy frontal con los fundamentalismos que generan todo el racismo y que generan todo el planteamiento de ataque, de asesinatos, de desapariciones contra nosotras y de ataques masivos. Estas son los fundamentalismos, las iglesias, las estructuras de poder que están vinculadas también a los estados iglesia, pero también los estados de narcoactividad. Entonces, el ataque se vincula de una mezcla muy, muy grande. Lo otro es el planteamiento del derecho que tienen sobre nuestros cuerpos en lo que en su momento quizás se llamó derecho de pernada, pero que esa expresión de cultura se quedó como propiedad, que somos propiedad del dueño de la casa, del dueño de la finca, del dueño de la empresa, del dueño de una institución de gobierno. Y entonces cuando vamos a trabajar en esos lugares, que muchos trabajos en casa o los trabajos mal remunerados que tenemos que hacer, hay ese derecho de pernada que tenemos que pasar, nuestro cuerpo tiene que pasar con el dueño de esas expresiones. Entonces, Entonces, esto hace que la implementación de los estados imperialistas, los estados racistas, los estados neoliberales y coloniales patriarcales sigan latente con sus agendas de terror contra nosotras. Y dentro de todo eso, el planteamiento del modelo de vida que es capitalista neoliberal y que las empresas, aprovechándose de toda esa expresión de ataque, pues utilizan esos mecanismos militarizados, mecanismos de control contra nuestras vidas y también implementan proyectos de extractivismo de todo tipo. Nosotras estamos contra el extractivismo, desde el extractivismo minero, las hidroeléctricas, las petroleras, pero también el extractivismo que hacen de nuestras propias vidas para la cuestión en relación, por ejemplo, a nuestra espiritualidad, a nuestros planteamientos cosmogónicos, políticos, el planteamiento de sanación que nosotras como feministas comunitarias estamos planteando, lo están utilizando para mercantilizar y para apropiarse de una cultura que no es de Occidente, Occidente se ha desvinculado mucho de los procesos de su espiritualidad, de su sanación, más usan nuestra sabiduría para comercializarla. En todo esto, entonces, hay bastante hambruna, hay embarazos forzados, hay un montón de niñas con embarazos forzados y este planteamiento, entonces, nos hace muy difícil llevar nuestra agenda para esa agenda feminista que estamos planteando. Nuestra agenda feminista está enfocada hacia una sanación con un camino cósmico-político, una liberación territorial con un planteamiento de pueblo y comunidad, no desligadas de la comunidad ni de pueblo, pero también las denuncias de las violencias que estamos viviendo porque ya son una ley cultural en los pueblos. Eso que se pueda plantear en estas acciones globales porque nuestras vidas están en riesgo toda vez que nos criminalizan y nos generan justicia popular, justicia de las instancias de los estados contra nosotras, toda vez que para ellos nosotras estamos quitando o estamos transgrediendo las leyes patriarcales. Entonces queremos justicia antipatriarcal, que así sea. Gracias por el espacio.
Thank you so much, Lolita. Our solidarity with your struggles.
Gracias.
We are in Guatemala, and please, another colleague of Guatemala, who's no, remote, finish. There are another colleagues.
Buenos días.
No, a moment. We have two more. I'd like to renew the last one. Okay, but I need the name and only the nos colleagues.
Buenos días, soy María Dolores Marroquín. No puedo abrir mi cámara de la Marcha Mundial de Mujeres.
No puedes abrir tu cámara. Okay.
Sí.
Okay.
Muy buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Soy María Dolores Marroquín y hoy
Sorry.
desde la Marcha Mundial de Mujeres queremos enviarle un saludo a todas las mujeres y movimientos sociales que sueñan con un mundo en armonía y en equilibrio y que están hoy en reunión en este Foro Social Mundial. Queremos especialmente mandarles nuestro corazón a todos los pueblos del mundo que están siendo víctimas de distintas maneras de violencia y genocidio, particularmente a las compañeras de Palestina y del Congo. Hoy, pues bueno, escuchando lo que todas las compañeras han planteado, queremos decir que estamos completamente de acuerdo con estos análisis de contexto que nos han compartido, ¿verdad? Estamos luchando en contra de procesos colonialistas, extractivistas, militaristas, de empobrecimiento y reducción del papel de cuidado que el Estado debería de jugar, ¿verdad? Y estamos viendo cómo, al contrario, están en complicidad con los poderes transnacionales, militares, genocidas y criminales que usan los cuerpos de las mujeres en sus procesos de enriquecimiento, sustentados además en los fundamentalismos religiosos de múltiples denominaciones. Esto, como Marcha Mundial de Mujeres, lo podemos ver desde el sur global, que está en el norte, desde los Estados Unidos hasta la Tierra del Fuego. Y en este territorio de las Américas de Ayayala estamos enfrentando las políticas neoliberales que están expoliando y despojando los bienes de la naturaleza, que también están despojando la capacidad productiva y reproductiva de los pueblos, principalmente de las mujeres rurales, campesinas, de pueblos originarios, y que están siendo además expulsados de sus territorios, generando olas de migración tanto dentro de los territorios nacionales como hacia el norte, encontrando otras formas de explotación, violencia, precariedad, que a muchas y muchos de nuestros compatriotas les lleva a la muerte. Hoy, como movimientos feministas, como movimientos de mujeres, como movimientos en donde participamos, pues una diversidad de identidades políticas, sexuales y de transformación, queremos avanzar en un proceso que coloque la vida en el centro, que destrone el mercado y la acumulación como el eje de organización social y política. Y estamos soñando, estamos construyendo espacios de cuidado y afecto, retomando esta prioridad que las compañeras nos mencionaban anteriormente, este cuidado que necesitamos, este afecto, desde las redes de cuidado más cercanos hasta espacios de cuidado comunitarios y nacionales. Todo esto lo estamos desarrollando desde diferentes caminos. No les queremos nombrar estrategias porque es un concepto militar. Y para nosotras son caminos porque además vamos juntas y vamos tomando a veces atajos y a veces tomando senderos largos. Y dentro de estos caminos que estamos impulsando están el construir nuestros cuerpos y sexualidades como espacios libres emancipados, entendiendo que son estos espacios primarios en donde se afinca la opresión, en donde se afinca el control, pero también en donde tenemos la potencialidad de transformarnos como sujetas para ir transformando las relaciones sociales y la comprensión y la manera de participar en estos sueños emancipatorios mucho más globales. Estamos impulsando también caminos que van construyendo la economía para la vida, desde ubicarnos como un elemento más de la naturaleza y quitarnos esa prepotencia humana, pensando que tenemos la posibilidad de vivir sin afectar, si no tenemos todos los otros elementos en equilibrio y en armonía. Otro camino es la reconstitución de los pueblos, la construcción del poder popular. Y esto pasa por procesos de desmontaje, de deconstrucción, de despatriarcalización, de descolonización, de desmercantilización. Y como bien lo decía Lolita, a quien le tengo muchísimo cariño y gustazo de verte, Lolita, es que tenemos que pasar por procesos de sanación personal y colectiva, en donde dejemos atrás, en donde sanemos todos esos procesos de violencia histórica, estructural que los pueblos y particularmente las mujeres hemos vivido. Y por último, una de las rutas no menos importantes es esto que estamos haciendo hoy, y es construir complicidad y alianza entre los pueblos. En Guatemala, y bueno, en muchas partes del mundo, hoy estamos en el 5.º día del Guayeb en el calendario maya, y hoy es un día muy importante para hacernos responsables, para para asumir nuestra responsabilidad como sujetas y sujetos, tanto de la vida que tenemos como de la que queremos construir. Hoy es día de asumir los costos de nuestros actos y decidirnos a pagar o resarcir. Y como decimos aquí, como dicen los pueblos originarios, hacer el tojil es lo que hoy toca. Queremos que este ciclo que estamos cerrando hoy y que mañana inicie el nuevo año maya, sea cerrado con mucho amor y esperanza por lo que viene. Queremos valorar hoy también la resistencia de los pueblos, los múltiples levantamientos por preservar los pocos espacios democráticos y por avanzar en la construcción del buen vivir desde la vida cotidiana hasta las relaciones sociales más amplias. Y como decimos en la Marcha Mundial de Mujeres, seguiremos en marcha hasta que todas seamos libres. Seguiremos en marcha hasta que Palestina sea libre. Seguiremos en marcha hasta que todas las personas y territorios sean libres. Muchas gracias, compañeras.
Just to share that this activity now, we will listen to our colleague from Uganda, Tapita Mulia Piti, and after we will finish with our colleague Renu Adhikari. Renu has organized all the movement, feminist movement in Nepal. It was a great event here. Sorry. Then after that, our colleague Argentina, Carol,
Davita de Uganda. Next event.
Yes, I am just explaining that how it would be finished the activity. Our colleague of Uganda, after Renew, after yes, Carol from Argentina will synthesize this panel. Okay. Capita, the online floor is yours. No, not. What's second?
Wait.
No, no, we cannot listen.
Cannot hear you.
No?
Okay.
We cannot hear you now.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
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 Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It's a good afternoon here in Uganda. I want to wish you a very good day, all sisters on the panel. Andy, I teach women and gender studies in Makerere University in Uganda, Kampala, Uganda. Mostly I concentrate around issues of feminism, feminist action, and women movements. I'm very excited to be sharing these wonderful stories with the sisters from across the world. I'm very, very honored to be part of this panel. I've enjoyed listening to many stories from our sisters from Palestine and from Latin America. Thanks so much for allowing me to share a few issues. regarding the main subject of feminism, women's movements, and diversities. I would like to thank you once again, and I want to start with emphasizing that women in Africa have been connecting dots, meaning feminism has been alive on the African continent, but it has been based on connecting dots with other sisters from across the world. And from doing this, we've realized remarkable progress in the big project known as the gender agenda, which is otherwise the feminist movement. And for sure, in a few weeks, all women of Africa and other women from all parts of the world will be going to the major theme once again. It's very relevant for Africa, and it's based on poverty, strengthening institutions, and financing for gender equality. This is a very relevant topic for Africa today and the rest of the world. It gives much promise to women economic empowerment and women economic collectives as a stimulating factor for women's feminism in Africa, but also it has led to stimulating women's business technologies. For the first time, women have been intentionally targeted to take advantage of the digital technologies to grow their businesses, but also link to other global markets. And in a way, we see a new rise of sisterhood, not based on merely political activism, but that based on market and market returns. A sisterhood which is based on exchange of goods and commodities and enabling African women to grow their entrepreneurial skills. This, without doubt, has given rise to a new culture of saving and investment, which has led to a high level of agency, an increased level of agency for many women from across the different strata of life, especially in Africa. In Uganda itself, we have been looked at by the World Bank and other agents, economic agents of the world, as the most entrepreneurial society. We have up to over 100,000 saving groups encouraging women to save around issues, governments and local agents, other local agents, such as provision of health, provision of school dues, school fees, and also merely providing a local form of insurance for women. Indeed, this gives a very promising picture. But without dwelling so much on the bright side of things, I would like to look at the gloom, as I have one really disturbing fact that I want to very much share with my sisters who are on this panel and beyond as we talk about the future of feminism and women movements. And this is the pushback from some of the conservative spheres across the world, actually, which abet trafficking. And at the same time, they attack things like sex work and other forms of women's expression in the labor market. The trafficking is a very central issue in the discussion on the future of feminism, because this new form of slavery is targeting young women and girls. And from our girls is following almost the slave route in East Africa, in particular, where I come from, the Indian Ocean has remained a very fundamental route for rerouting the new slaves of our world, mostly young women and girls. The major destination has been to the United Arab Emirates. It's estimated that about 100,000 girls are leaving Uganda every year to go and work in the United Arab Emirates. There are a lot of them going to Malaysia, in Southeast Asia, India, Malaysia, mostly India and Malaysia and China. And also we have the traditional routes to the US, Canada, and mostly the form of labor involved is involuntary domestic servitude, forced labor or bonded labor. We have also the issue of child soldiers, and very importantly, a very common one is sex trafficking. This remains a very important thorn in the flesh of many feminists in Africa. And I talk for many of the women in Uganda. There's been many movements formed to try and abate the ever-increasing trafficking and servitude of women in form of migration. It has been given different names. Some people call it the greener pastures. Other people call it economic opportunity. But the fact remains the slave route and the slave masters have remained constant. I would like to conclude. As told, it's 5 minutes. I hope I'll have a chance to discuss more or answer questions. I would like to conclude that feminism in Africa is very relevant. Although there are many scholars have tried to rewrite the history of African women and an African relevant feminism. That is based on solidarity, on oneness, and brother and sisterhood. The African feminism that is based deeply on a stable society and the respect of human rights and equality. An African feminism that craves for long-lasting peace in the region, peace in Sudan, peace in Uganda, peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo, peace in much of West Africa and Ethiopia. I want to add that, as I'm concluding, that women movements help everyone. It's increasingly being recognized in many parts of Africa that actually women movements help everyone. They promote inclusion, they promote dialogue, and create more opportunity for all in society. They create more opportunity for access to all forms of production. They have contributed an opportunity for affirmative action and mass education of the girl child. They've continued to help to put more light on child marriages in Africa, and also to completely empower the rural woman through revolutionary financing. Lastly, I want to say as a way forward that I do want to take this opportunity on this forum to say that feminism is relevant for Africa as it is for the rest of the world, now more than ever, to ensure that women's voices continue to be heard in all their diversity, to ensure that all important, where all important decisions are made, women's voices are listened to. I call upon the world with this brief speech to listen to what women are saying without ignoring their efforts or their ever-growing agency. I thank you very much for listening to me.
Habla con nosotros. Renu. Now my turn. Yeah.
I help. Yes, I help with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you very much. That's what we wanted to say. It was wonderful. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you very much, Rosie, and all who are here on the table, and then all who are connected. It is real pleasure to get connected with you all in spite of long distances. I think this is the only one good thing of globalization, that is communication, and which is really helping us to get connected. And then we need to make use of this, I guess. I'm Renu from Nepal, and then I would like to share some of our issues. We just completed Global Feminist Forum today, and then more than 3,000 women we gathered. And a couple of things came out very strongly. One thing like, okay, in Nepal, although Nepal is a safe place in South Asia, but one of the challenging thing for us is peace process has not been completed. Especially those women who had been affected by sexual violence during the conflict, they are neither heard nor addressed. And that is creating huge issues because now the children who are born out of rape are already 17, 18 years old, and they don't have citizenship and a lot of issue. Women have huge stake on their health and then livelihood and others. So one thing which is really demanding from us is how to complete peace process. Second thing, to complicate is, although it looks very good from outside, but our democracies are at stake. We can see that, okay, populists who are not affiliated to any party are coming up in the election, winning the election. Now it looks very romantic, but in long term, that is going to give us a lot of problem. We can take the example of our Kathmandu mayor itself, right? So so this is another thing. And then third thing, which we are facing, I think this is regional issue, democracy at stake, and then Nepal issue as well. Third thing, violence against women is really, really high. And this violence, in one hand, violence against women is high. Second, in another hand, getting justice is getting more and more difficult. Patriarchy is getting strengthened by different other actors. I mean, if I can say so, neoliberal policies and then whole capitalist mode of production is strengthening patriarchy. So this is kind of interconnectedness with patriarchy and then capitalism is really one of the issues which we are facing. Our region, including Nepal, in Nepal, it might not be visible that much, but from inside it's happening. Rapid militarization is taking place. Gun power is coming up. Another issue which I really wanted to talk when my Mexican sister is here and Guatemala just spoke trafficking is increasing in Nepal. Trafficking, migration, human is boggling. I don't know, this is very much connected. But now this is no more India, Nepal, or Gulf countries, Mexico border and Guatemala border is being used. People pay a huge amount of money
to reach there. So this is real challenge. We need to foster some kind of connection and then relationship with the sisters from there, right? So this is a kind of, this is one of the issue. This is no more only conventional trafficking, what we used to say. So we can see that different form of complicated. Fourth, another issue what we are facing, I think, again, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, all, but I will talk from the Nepal side, like non-recognition of women's work, criminalization of sex work is very rapidly, criminalization of sex work, abuse and stigma against migrant women workers. That is creating real huge, it's very, very difficult for migrant women who are back to get integrated into the society, you know, and then that is creating huge stake. And then increasingly shrinking civil society space. You know, we don't have that much of spaces where we can talk, we can bring the issues and then foster the collaboration. It's kind of, and one thing, if I don't bring that one, I think I will not be doing justice, that development aid is creating a lot of issue in country, you know, because a lot of women welfare organizations are being created, which is dominating political feminist movement. So kind of, very certain benefits are there, but long-term depoliticization of whole the movement is taking place, you know, and that is a real challenge. That is a real challenge, how to address. So, and we kind of, as I said, very limited or almost non-resources for the social activist, you know. Definitely, these are the issues, but we are not afraid of issues. We want to challenge the issues. You know, that's why feminists do. That's why feminist movement are all about. So definitely what we want, to stop militarization by strengthening democratization. I think that that we can start, that we should start rather, like, okay, taking the Palestinian issue as in front, because Palestinian issue has this is a real example, you know, how colonization and militarization can ruin the lives of the people. So we want this to stop militarization. And strengthening feminist movement from below is one of the things. And I who were in this World Social Forum, I think you could have seen that, okay, thousands of women from below were here. And then it's a real positive indication what we see. Women's work needs to be recognized. And then we, like, okay, personally, me also, I'm working with the domestic worker, agriculture worker, and then sex workers as well. You know, kind of how to strengthen, how to recognize, decriminalize the work, right? And then patriarchy needs to be smashed. But how? That is a challenge, because patriarchy is among women organizations as well. Patriarchy is not only men's issue, you know, kind of it's a structural issue. So this structural issue needs to be addressed. So how to make this? Today we had a lot of discussion. We said that, okay, feminist peace movement needs to be strengthened. And that has to be made global. It's not only like, okay, local or at the national or regional, you know, kind of how to link all the actors together. I think we need to strategize. And then World Social Forum is a space. And after World Social Forum also, we need to work, and then we need to really take this forward. Fostering alliances and with the democratic movement, because if we will not have democracy, then we will not be able to address anything. You know, so kind of democracy is one of the fundamental things. So kind of how to strengthen democracy. But by saying so, I would also like to say that, okay, maybe we need to start defining what democracy means for us from the feminist perspective. And because democracy is not only by getting elected leaders, you know, kind of democracy is by the freedom, equality, and then peaceful environment. So I think that strengthening a democratic movement and fostering alliances with the democratic alliances are necessary. And strengthening, as I said, that, okay, anti-war and anti-weapon movements. I think these are some of the areas which we really want to take it as an entry point or the start point. And definitely feminist movement has to take care of intergenerational and then intersectional issues as well. So kind of by fostering, by bringing this, I think Nepali feminists are ready. We will be working, and then we really urge all the feminists from all around the globe to kind of to be together in the struggle. I think this starts now. We are sitting at the same table, and then we are discussing the issue around the globe. But this cannot be stopped here. It needs to be taken forward. It needs to be strengthened, and it needs to be fostered. So with this, I would like to thank and then stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Renu. I think Dr. Carol is in the floor. Vamos ver. Claudia.
Yes, right.
Okay. Claudia is with us to make a synthesis of our debate. Claudia, you are welcome.
Sí. Bueno, muchas gracias y va a ser muy difícil una síntesis de este encuentro que tuvo una enorme riqueza, ya que además al tener cada una que comprimir sus intervenciones a 5 minutos eligieron las palabras claves, pero voy a tratar de hacer por lo menos un aporte en ese sentido. En todo el diálogo se planteó con mucha fuerza el tema de enfrentar la economía de guerra con la economía de cuidados, que pone en el primer lugar la defensa de la vida, que coloca la vida en el centro y destrona a la mercancía como un centro de la construcción de las sociedades. Se planteó también con mucha fuerza la solidaridad con las mujeres palestinas, con las mujeres, niñas y niños palestinos, que son, en este caso, mujeres palestinas activas en la creación de un futuro libre y nuevo. Se dijo con mucha claridad que Palestina es una causa feminista para la lucha por la libertad y la justicia. Se habló bastante en distintas intervenciones sobre el tema de las guerras, se mencionó que están preparadas hace mucho tiempo, que la prepara la conversión gradual y rápida de las economías en una economía de guerra, la militarización de las sociedades que impregna todos los aspectos, los discursos que nos hacen o nos buscan llevar a aceptar la guerra como algo normal y que entonces nos tenemos que enfrentar al armamentismo, a la militarización, a la pérdida de derechos fundamentales, decir no a la militarización, es decir también no a la OTAN, no a los planes de guerra, no a la violencia hacia las mujeres en el marco de la militarización. Se alertó de que las fuerzas de la derecha crecen en todo el mundo, que se escucha a quienes usan un lenguaje muy violenta y que las fuerzas de derecha y fascistas son aliadas con las fuerzas patriarcales neoliberales. Se planteó con mucha intensidad la necesidad de hablar de la libertad de nuestros cuerpos y no solo en un sentido biologicista, hablar de nuestras necesidades, de la diversidad de nuestros cuerpos y en ese sentido afirmar los cambios en el feminismo. Se planteó lo que significa como denuncia la sexualización de las mujeres. En este tema de los cambios en los feminismos se subrayó que a veces miramos a los movimientos feministas en las urbes, pero no vemos el lugar y las luchas que dan los movimientos rurales con el trabajo duro en la agricultura. Se planteó la necesidad de profundizar el feminismo antirracista, se propuso mirar también al feminismo desde los territorios, denunciar que hemos sufrido genocidios donde las víctimas mujeres, sectores LGTBQ, niñas, han venido sufriendo torturas permanentes en las casas, en las camas, porque la militarización además genera la violencia de la cultura machista, la cultura de la violación, y eso genera terror. e incluso en ese sentido también se denunció desde distintos países lo que significa el tráfico de mujeres como formas de esclavitud, las distintas formas que se expresa esta esclavitud, el matrimonio infantil, la violencia sexual, el derecho de pernada, el que alguien nos considere propiedad, ya sea dueño de la casa, de las empresas. Se denunció el papel de los fundamentalismos, de las iglesias, de las estructuras de poder, de los estados con narcoactividad que generan violencia sobre nosotras, y se habló de que el extractivismo es una política que arrasa con nuestros bienes comunes, con nuestros territorios, y está en las petroleras, están las mineras, pero también se habló del extractivismo de nuestros saberes y de nuestras vidas, de los intentos de apropiación de nuestra cultura, de la mercantilización, incluso de las formas de sanación para comercializarla y para generar dinero para las políticas económicas del poder. Y en ese sentido se planteó nuestros procesos de sanación desde las cosmovisiones, junto a la liberación territorial y a la defensa de nuestras vidas en riesgos. Finalmente se planteó que son caminos los que estamos realizando para construir desde nuestros cuerpos espacios donde se afinca el control, pero tenemos posibilidad de transformar ese control como sujetas y participar y realizar sueños emancipatorios. Por eso se reafirmó la reconstitución de los pueblos a partir de la construcción de poder popular, de descolonización, de desmercantilización, de impulsar los procesos de sanación personal y colectivo, y construir complicidad y alianza entre los pueblos, definir la democracia, qué entendemos por eso, por la libertad, desde la perspectiva feminista, y finalmente entonces pensar cómo el 8 de marzo en la huelga feminista internacional, mundial, ponemos en el centro la libertad de las mujeres, de los niños, de los pueblos, y especialmente la libertad del pueblo de Palestina, que es nuestra causa. Hasta ahí dejaría.
Okay. Well, we finished now our panel. We should remember that our next common agenda, global agenda in March 8th. Then to remember that the feminism is a real global movement. Then if one movement could ask for justice, for freedom for Palestine, is the feminist movement. Let's to put it in our agenda from now to 8 March. I hope in March 8 we not have anymore the war in Gaza. But until there, we will find to be just for the Palestinian people and freedom, free Palestine, free Palestine. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Thank you very much to be with us. Okay. ¿Cómo? Abram, no, please, could you open your camera? Then we can see all of us. Oh, very nice. Someone please take a picture.
Thank you for interpreting.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the interpreters that thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. Bye bye in the next meeting. Bye bye.